A son of Nigerian immigrants, he played football at a small school in Clayton, Missouri. Lightly recruited but with God-given smarts, determination, and athletic ability, he found himself starting at Yale. Not invited to the combine but drafted anyways, now a predominant member of the Atlanta Falcons defense, budding NFL star, and joining us in the huddle, Foyesade Oluokun.
All right, hello everyone. This is Gus Farrat, and thanks for joining us on Huddle Up with Gus. I'm here with my partner Dave, and we're getting ready to interview a special guest. I coached this guy at John Burroughs School in St. Louis. Phenomenal athlete, great person, great family, and so we want you to hear his story. So right now joining us is Foyesade Oluokun. He's going to join us in the huddle. How are you doing today, Foye?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
We're doing wonderful. How are you doing today, Dave?
Doing well.
It's another great rainy day in Pittsburgh.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah,
this is
all
like
relative.
Yeah, this is like beautiful weather for us in Pittsburgh. So, but we're here, and we're really happy to have you on, Foye. So, what we do, we want to talk a little bit about your childhood. We want to find out kind of what influenced you in sports and how you got started in it, because your career is pretty amazing to me. And so, one of the things we always ask is who were those people that influenced you in sports? Was it your parents? Were they athletic? Was it your brother? Was it your aunts and uncles? Who was it that when you really were young that you said, man, I love these games. I love playing sports. Who was that?
That's kind of hard because like my dad was not athletic. My mom is not athletic. But, my dad kind of introduced us to sports at a young age because he felt it was a good, character development type thing. So like we had a ball or a bag full of like every type of ball you could have. Like we had golf balls, tennis balls, basketballs, soccer balls, like footballs, everything. And me and my brother kind of just grew up playing anything we could play because that was our way of like getting out the house and being active and doing stuff and getting friends and things like that. So kind of getting good at sports. Maybe I kind of wanted, my brother was, older than me, so I always wanted to be as good as him at everything. So that probably drove me when I first started playing.
Nice. So you said your parents weren't athletic. I know a little bit about your background. So can you tell us a little bit about your parents, where they're from, and like I want to know, these people need to know your story a little bit. With everything that's going on today, I think your story is very powerful.
My mom and dad are from Nigeria. And my dad came over here, kind of put himself through college, Texas A&M Kingsville. My mom came over later, and then soon after they had us. And my dad and mom, they kind of always, preached academics to us because, that's what got my dad through college and made him, what he is in America now. So they always wanted us to be successful. He always wanted us to be hardworking and smart. He preached that to us since like day one. And so everything was about books with him. Like summers, I'd be not locked up in my room, but I have like basically homework assignments throughout the summer, doing workbooks and reading and doing essays for him and stuff. And he'd basically come home like a teacher and grade them. And my mom she worked at nights, but she'd always like oversee us, making sure we're always doing what we needed to do to stay ahead. And, kind of getting into sports was our way to, get away from all that because, it's kind of stressful for kids to always be doing schoolwork and stuff. So my brother and I, after school stuff with sports and through the summer, the way to get out the house was sports.
Right. So did you have a lot of family here? Was it like your parents and everybody else was back in Nigeria, or did you have a lot of other relatives in the States with you?
Yeah. I wouldn't say we had relatives in the States. It was kind of my dad came over by himself, but he found a lot of, Nigerian descent people around. So they had a Nigerian Cultural Association in St. Louis. So growing up, we kind of always went to those events and met other Nigerians that way. And we called them our aunts and uncles and stuff, but they aren't technically related to us.
You must have played soccer, I'm guessing. It's a big sport.
Oh, yeah, that was my first sport. I thought I was going to go to college, play soccer and all that growing up until high school. Chose football over soccer, actually.
Yeah, St. Louis is a pretty good soccer town, isn't it?
Yeah, we were pretty good, I'd say. Yeah, we were traveling around the country and winning games and nationals and all that stuff. But I decided to go elsewhere with sports.
And Foye got like a size 14 shoe, and and started tripping over his feet all the time. And so they said, well, maybe soccer's not the sport for you.
That's better for the little guys usually.
Yeah.
So how competitive were you and your brother Foye?
Fade. Yeah. We're competitive. I mean, in everything, really. Even school. Growing up, I think we fought every day, to be honest with you. We had a basketball hoop outside. We used to play one-on-one all the time. And it kind of started out that way. And soccer, we would kind of always practice against each other playing soccer. And then my dad would let us wrestle and stuff on a old bed mattress. That was nice. But we were always competitive and fighting. But that's brothers. He's only 2 years older than me, so that's kind of how it is. The nature of brothers who want to be successful and want to do everything better than everybody else. So it was fun though. We're close now, but we used to fight all the time.
Now, Foye, was there a particular coach you had, in your pre-high school days when you were playing all these sports that that still kind of sticks out in your memory that maybe was an early influence to you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Coach Rod knows him. Manny Palin, Coach Palin. He, not my first organized basketball, but I think third grade is when I started playing for him. And then he's the one who introduced me to football, took me out of soccer and saying, like, it's not the sports for Americans or whatever. My dad got mad at that, but he kind of put me into football, introduced me to that. In 4th and 5th grade, I played for him. And then going into high school, he's like always in my ear saying you need to play football and stuff. So, I was actually thinking about this the other day, like even because my dad's an engineer, but I always wanted to be in finance and business. And that's what Coach Palin is. He's like wealth management and everything. So kind of seeing, cause I always hung out with him while my dad worked out of town and my mom worked at nights. So kind of seeing what he had and how he was living life and stuff and being so generous to other people, I kind of wanted to be like that too. So he definitely
he's
had
a good guy. He
role.
really helped a lot of kids get into boroughs and helps really influence a lot of kids to play football and reach out and try to do other things. And we'll get into some more of those stories when we get to Foye's high school stuff. But Foye, so you were playing a lot of sports when you were younger. Who was your first idol, the first sports star that you looked up to and wanted to be like?
First one, apparently, I remember this, Kobe Bryant. Definitely the first one. And then soon after that, very quickly, it changed to Allen Iverson because I loved Allen Iverson. And I started not liking Kobe because I think they went to the finals or Eastern Conference finals. The finals they had against each other once. And I really liked Allen Iverson, and Kobe beat him. But he won one game. So I really liked AI. Then soon after that, Mike Vick came along. I was a big Michael Vick fan. Anytime I played football, no matter what I did, I always tried to be Mike Vick, even if I was like kicking or start off the kickoffs and things. I'd say Mike Vick before it and stuff. It was funny. And then after that was Rondo, because I like Rondo because he's like kind of, I say underrated, but he always kind of has his own demeanor about himself, kind of quiet, but very confident in his own way. So I kind of be like that. I kind of try to be like that as well.
Yeah, so my kids always, Foye knows all my kids. And they always tell me my favorite song is that Post Malone song about Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
That's like, I listen to it all the time. I mean, I can't recite every lyric, but I just enjoy listening to it. It's one of my favorites.
Great.
One of the best crossovers of any player ever to play NBA.
Oh, yeah. And not the biggest guy, just went out and dominated.
Right. I love his heart. That's what I loved about him. Like, if you look at him on the court, like he's short out there, but he's like plays with so much confidence and stuff and so much heart and harder than everybody. So I loved it.
He didn't like practice either.
Yes. Yeah, he didn't like it. So I don't think Le'Veon Bell likes practice either.
Right.
So did you get to meet Michael Vick?
I did meet Michael Vick this summer at a charity event, Super Bowl weekend. And he was like a celebrity that came in. He didn't play in it, but he came in like right after it ended, took pictures with everybody. I got to talk to him, tell him where I'm from. I play for the Falcons and stuff. He said, well, that's like, he congratulated me and said like, that's good stuff. And like, we got a picture together and kind of had a little conversation. But that was really cool for me. Like, I was at a loss of words at first. I had to regather myself before, talking to him.
Did you put that on social media, that picture?
I did.
Good.
I actually met Allen Iverson that same weekend too. Later, I was out.
Oh, man.
And he was like parked. And I was walking by and I looked, I'm like, that no way it can't be Allen Iverson. So I talked to Allen Iverson for like 10 minutes with him and his like guest bodyguard, and we kind of talked about the old days of basketball, because that's when I liked it a lot better, kind of 10 years ago.
Right.
And how it's been changed and stuff. But it was a cool conversation too.
Yeah, I grew up a big fan of Terry Bradshaw, and that's why I have the number I had all my life was number 12, because growing up in Pittsburgh in the 70s and all that, and they were really good, and then I never got to meet Bradshaw till my second year in the league. So that day was pretty amazing to me. And then somebody gave him a football to give him to me, and he signed it, so I still have that. So it's pretty cool.
Mine was Tim Foley. I don't know if you remember Tim
Oh,
Foley.
yeah.
This is going way back prior to Foye being born. But he was shortstop for the Pirates they picked up in '79, real scrappy. I randomly met him at an airport one time. So,
did you really?
Yeah. So
What teams did Tim Foley play for?
Well, he starred on the Pirates. He was an Angel. He was a Met. He choked up on the bat about 8 inches, though. That's one thing that was
put it in
distinctive.
play.
He put it in play.
Did he have like big glasses?
Big, almost like prison-issued glasses. Like those you'd see. Yeah. So he was an interesting player. Nice guy.
Foye, we're going to move on from your youth. Thank you for sharing that. And now we're going to talk a little bit about your high school experience and kind of that age in that area for you. So what was it that got you to John Burroughs? Because, I don't know if you know this, my kids went to John Burroughs with Foye as well. They start in 7th grade. So it's a great school.
And really, I'm more familiar than you think of John Burroughs. It's just for our Pittsburgh viewers, it would be kind of a combination Shadyside Academy and Swickley.
Yes, right.
It was very high academics, but also strong sports, and only about 100 people per class or something.
Yeah, my daughter loved it, and my boys not so much. They thought it was pretty hard. So what really got you to John Burroughs?
Kind of went to a elementary school. My dad kind of took us out of where we were and sent us to a really high academic elementary school, kind of across town, and kind of probably got a scholarship to go there, and it turned out to be a feeder school into kind of the more educational high schools in St. Louis, and John Burroughs at the time probably ranked the highest of them, like education-wise. Liberal arts high school, not big, like small in size, but liberal arts high school, and they were really big in education and told you can get into colleges and be really successful and stuff. So my dad was all about it. So that's where we're going.
Now, playing football at John Burroughs, your head coach was Gus Farrat. What was your first impression of Gus when you met him?
Thinking about it, like, it was crazy because the structure of practice and stuff kind of changed, but just his thinking of offense, like the offense, everything he put in, like, worked. And then because we came from a season where we weren't very good, and then we kind of had the same players basically, but that same year we went to state, and it was kind of no secret that I guess Sam Van Doren was a quarterback at the time, and we had Grant Wallace as a receiver, but whatever he was kind of telling Sam to do and whatever he put in the offense was working. And then when he took over like head coach, the whole team liked him, which is big for Burroughs, because if the kids don't like it, like, they don't really play as hard, they don't really stick with the sport. But everybody liked him, and everybody liked the program and stuff. So it was cool for us to have like a NFL coach like in that kind of mind, kind of telling us what to do. And he's a big part of it. Like, 'cause thought I was going to play basketball in college, to be honest with you, and then he was kind of telling me like, take this football stuff seriously, and it's kind of coming from a good place because he was in the league for so long. You kind of got to trust that word that you do have the skills, and maybe this is the right calling for me, because I love football, but I didn't know that I was going to be that good at it. So him telling me that kind of like gave me that confidence that I needed.
And his style's a little more old school probably than a lot of coaches nowadays. Also, he's coming from Western PA in a good way.
I would get. We had a quarterback that I'd like to yell at every now and then. Foye knows who it is. We don't have to say Nick's name. Oh, we just did. But no, it was fun. These kids were. It's a great school, like you mentioned. It's a highly academic school, and we only had 28 players, usually 28, 30, somewhere around there, and everybody had to play. And I loved that. I loved that everybody got to play in the game. and everybody got to participate. So there was one of my favorite players that we had was Jack, and Foye knows what I'm saying. He just was a great kid, and he's playing linebacker for us, and he was just doing a great job, and luckily we had Foye and Zeke on the team. So Foye, so tell us a little bit, tell us one good Zeke story.
Ezekiel Elliott, by the way, happened to be teammates at a school the size of Swickley Academy, had 2 NFL players on it. So, not saying there was recruiting, but there might have been something.
Oh, no, there's no I got there after these guys got there, so okay. I didn't recruit anybody.
Yeah, recruiting's not allowed at Burroughs. I mean, now they're struggling a little bit. You can see it. But Zeke was just a fun-loving dude. I mean, we kind of different where I was, like, in games more serious and, like, focus on what you need to focus on. Like, I don't want to lose and stuff. He's just, like, out there having a great time and just, like, if he's having fun, he's playing well. So I just remember one game, I think it was probably kind of tight at first, which during the regular season we weren't accustomed to. And then he comes out of the huddle after you can see, like, them mentally breaking down, and he, like, yells out to, I guess, our team, like, these guys are getting flustered, or like he said the word flustered, and like our whole team looked at him like, you don't use, like, I don't know, just like words that you wouldn't see him using. And then we kind of all laughed at him, made it an inside joke and stuff. But he kind of always taught me just have fun out there, and if you're having fun, you can play it looser and everything. So I really credit a lot of how I am right now to him.
What is your biggest football memory at Burroughs?
I got a lot of memories.
You guys had some pretty good teams, though, right? State finalists.
Yeah, we went to the States
3 times and lost all of them. But aggregate, we're the best team in Missouri. Second place. Not a lot of teams can do that. But I just say probably sophomore year, starting at when I finally starting at cornerback at the time. We went to CBC to play Cardinal Ritter, who was pretty good at football, like in the area. And then we ended up winning a game that I guess the press said we had no chance of being in or whatever. And that's when I, like, that win and you could kind of that teamwork and that feeling after the game was like, dang, I really love this sport. That was sophomore year because, kind of coming together and all playing together well as a team and kind of doing stuff that, people said you couldn't do. That was really big for us, and it kind of felt great. So winning in football is probably the best feeling that I really get ever. So it's probably the best memory.
What was great about Burroughs, Foye, and I'm sure you can attest to this, is that, we did have Zeke and Foye on our team, and it's not like we had 28 like top superior athletes. We had Zeke and Foye, and then we had a bunch of guys who just loved the game, came together, played for each other week in and week out, and you can really win when you have a team that is committed and wants to be there. Like I asked these guys, do you want to meet on Sunday? And they're all, yeah, let's meet. So parents were bringing in donuts and food, and then the school said, well, you can't meet on Sunday because you can't keep these kids going 7 days a week. Right. So we had to give them a break. But, it was their choice. They loved it. They enjoyed it.
At what stage did you start to get interest from colleges? Like sophomore year?
I don't even know. That recruiting story is weird because I guess Coach Rock can tell you a little bit. Like, I guess colleges were interested in me, and I didn't really pay mind to it or much attention to it. Like, I wanted to play basketball for the longest time, and probably a little hard-headed on that. And then 2, like, my dad, I guess, would see letters and stuff, and I wouldn't even know about it. So there were a couple of junior days I guess I got invited to, but I didn't go to. It wasn't until Coach really sat me down and said, like, you have a shot at playing at the next level, that I was like, oh. He's like, what schools you want to go to? Basically, I was like, the Ivy Leagues and, maybe Stanford or like Northwestern, like my some really education was like always what I really wanted to do. So it kind of sent my film out to them. Then really quickly after that, all the Ivies came knocking, and then kind of quickly after that, I was committed to Yale. So,
yeah. What was most interesting about Yale to you of all the Ivies?
I kind of just I went up to campus there first on a basketball visit or camp for a week, and I kind of just fell in love with the campus. I kind of realized you can be whatever you want to be, like dress however you want to dress. And then, a week later, I went up there for a football camp visit, and kind of I was already fell in love with the campus and everything, and just the vibe there is kind of in the middle of I wouldn't say rundown city, but it's a little older city. You can kind of go there and just be be yourself, and everybody kind of has their little role. You don't have to become somebody else to fit in there. So, and that's kind of in other Ivy Leagues. I feel like you have to do that a little bit, and I don't really like doing that at all. So that was the biggest deciding factor going to Yale.
So, Foye, I don't know if you know this, but we were going through this whole process with you as a coach, right? And I was trying to figure out where he wanted to go, where his dad wanted him to go, and trying to do the best that I could to get him recruited. And one of the schools that really offered him, and I don't know if you know this, was Oklahoma State.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man, they offered you to ride to go there, and but after talking to your dad and you, the Ivy Leagues were the way to go, and and that was the talk. I don't even know if your dad remembers that, but I spoke to the coaches at Oklahoma State quite a bit about you because I knew your skill level, I knew your athleticism, and I knew that you could play at that level. Mm-hmm. But I also knew what the desires were for you as being academic and your father being academics and how important that was and just what a school you could go to is Yale. I mean, anybody would love to be offered to go to that school. And so I think it was just incredible that you did have all those things out there. And I don't know if you ever knew that, but Oklahoma State did offer you. That's and, right. But I think you made the right choice because you never know what could have happened when you went to Oklahoma. Foye did all these great things to John Burroughs. He played basketball, football. He didn't play soccer, Burroughs. Did you play baseball?
Oh, baseball, yeah. Baseball guy.
I don't know if you could hit, though, right?
I hit very well.
So Foye did all these great things in high school. And then just tell us what your GPA was in high school, Foye.
I think a 3.8.
Yeah. So very academic, smart, great kids you love to have on your team, right?
Right.
And so Foye gets recruited by all the Ivy Leagues, picks Yale. He told us a little bit about that last time. So Burroughs has been able to put out a lot of people into Ivy Leagues, academically and athletically, which is nice.
Well, last week on our show, we had Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's a Harvard grad, and he told us a little bit about the rivalry with Yale, which is probably top 5 or 10 in the country in terms of rivalries. How would you describe that rivalry?
It's funny. It's interesting because, I don't really know any of the Harvard guys, and kind of rivalries where you don't really know the other team that well are kind of funny to me because you can tell they're trying to hate me, but I don't really know you to hate me like that. So it's more within the fans, kind of just with the schools don't like each other. But again, it's weird because a lot of the fans that show up to the game aren't very passionate about football. It's kind of a big social event, but there's a lot of people that come to the games, and it's they get really passionate just about their school pride and stuff. And it's the best environment that we play in every year. It's our last game of the year, and you always want to win it in front of it's the one time that everybody in the school comes out to watch you play. So you kind of want to win that in front of all your classmates and schoolmates like that. But yeah, it's interesting, definitely.
Yeah, I can imagine it is very interesting. That's like you said, it's one of the oldest rivalries ever in football. And it's just such a cool game. And going back to Ryan, some of the things we talked about, who was your roommate? Who were your friends in college that really kind of had an influence on you, pushed you to want to be better, all those types of things. We all had those guys that you loved hanging out with that made you better. Yeah,
I mean, my freshman year when you get there, you aren't allowed to. Well, generally, most athletes don't get to room with other athletes. I got into room with some kid. We call it just kids who got into school on their own. So kind of going and seeing their day and seeing what they go through, and then they get to see what we go through. It kind of improves our relationship with from athletics to the normal kids there, and they kind of push you to study better and learn better study habits and stuff because the courses that they choose and stuff they're up grinding all night, which I grind all night too, but they're up to 4 and they don't even have sports to do. So I'm I don't know what classes that you picked or you have to do that. But they chose that. And when they don't succeed, like they go back to the drawing board technically, and they, I guess, grind harder or learn how to study better. And so it's the same with us. Like when we don't do well on the field, we go back to the drawing board and we learn how to do better. And then we maybe don't succeed in the classroom, we can ask for their help. What did you learn from this teacher? Or how did you learn how to study? And they can help you be better. And then eventually, I kind of moved back to rooming with athletes, but by that time you already have a good relationship with a lot of the normal students there, so it kind of improves like the community aspect of the school, which was really important for us to have.
Do you feel like all that grind that you had to go through, academics, athletics, everything that you've done at Yale prepared you for what you're doing now?
Oh, definitely. I mean, when they kind of handed me the playbook right before I got to Atlanta, it was really kind of just learn that as quick as possible and be able to apply it to the field. And I definitely think, kind of having a grind in the classroom and then grind on the field at the same time is like, it's definitely stressful still now, but I've been through a lot tougher stresses, and now this is kind of more just like stressing for fun, which is kind of what I want to do now. So it makes definitely the stresses I went through at Yale have prepared me for the stresses of the NFL.
At what point did you feel, hey, you know what, I think I really have a legitimate shot to play in the NFL?
What really helped me actually was Zeke getting drafted at number 4 and then seeing him have his success in the league, because that's a guy who athletically I compare very well to. So if he can, go and be a superstar, I always told myself I could definitely have, a role in the league. So using that, I kind of just, always propelled myself to kind of make that stage as well, just to prove to myself that I could definitely do it. And then when I finally got my shot, it wasn't like I've already seen like one of the best people. I've kind of grew up with him. So, like I wasn't really fazed by anybody for real. I was just out there trying to improve myself and do whatever I needed to do.
Did you just do the pro days, or were you invited to the combine? I don't believe you were you?
I was not invited to the combine. I was very not well known, I guess, just pro days. And I did very well in my pro day, which kind of put me on the map. And then the Falcons took a chance on me, which I appreciated a lot. So I was used to that, though. I knew that was going to happen coming from Yale and everything.
Wait, I want to go back to one thing. So Foye was really good in basketball. Like, he was the star of the school in hoops every year, right? So one question I have for you, Foye, did you ever dunk on Zeke? I know you guys were teammates, but did you ever just dunk on him?
I did not dunk on him, no. We were usually on the, even in practice, we were on the same team and stuff, kind of starters versus, red or yellow team versus blue team and stuff. So I never dunked on him, but we used to, I remember after school a lot, we used to go up to our memorial gym and just like practice our dunks and stuff. And that was really cool. Like him seeing me dunk for the first time in a game was like a day after I learned how to like dunk 2 hands and everything. Like we were just up there fooling around and practicing. So we kind of like were each other's hype men, to be honest with you. It was fun.
Yeah, Gus and I are going to practice our dunks later after the show.
That's like a wing dunking and dips, I think.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, we can't do that kind of dunking.
Yeah.
So, last thing about your college. All right, so now you've played your whole career. You've had an outstanding career at Yale. Like, there's a picture of Foye. We're going to put it, if you don't mind, when we do this and we put it out there, Foye, if I can share that picture of you at Yale when you blocked that field goal.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because I don't know what your vertical was in that moment, but it looked like it was about 45 inches. It was unbelievable. Yeah, it was like he was so far off the ground. But you had such a great career. You go through all this at Yale. You go and you do your workout at Colorado, and then you say, okay, what's going to happen next? So where did you watch the draft? Who were you with, and what were you doing on that day?
So I ended up going to my coach's house for the day. Took a nap for the 4th round and then woke up 5th and 6th round, and then just waiting on phone calls and stuff. And then, I only got really 2 phone calls the whole day. I was like texting my agent, like, when are these phone calls going to come? Because usually I guess that's how they start recruiting you for free agency as the rounds go on. But I wasn't getting any phone calls. So I got one from maybe the Ravens, who were going to take me, wanted me to come free agency, and then the next one was, I guess, the Falcons. The GM was on the phone and stuff, and my coach I don't even know if my coach was there at the time. I think he went to go pick up his son from some basketball game, but the wife was there and one of his sons was there, And I was on the phone with the GM, and he's like, "You ready to be a Falcon? We're going to take you with the next pick." And I was like, hyperventilated. And yeah, then when the phone went off, I was just watching the TV, and it really happened. Like, it said Foyesade Oluokun, pick 200 Falcons. I was like, that's crazy. Like, all that, this journey that I was on, and people like always saying, you might want to, reconsider, go into finance and stuff. But, it's kind of what I chose to do, and it worked out for me.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we talked about, right? But
Yep.
You got to chase your dream when you got a chance to do it, right? It doesn't come around, and not many people get to even try. Foye had a chance to go try, make himself better in Colorado, proved at his pro days that he's an elite athlete, and then the Falcons saw that, and, we're going to get into that now. Foye, you just were drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. You got the call.
Yep.
What did you do right after the call? Did you call your dad? Did you call your parents? Did you call your brother? Who was it?
I called my dad and my parents first. I think I called my dad. My mom was on speakerphone, but yeah, I called my dad, and but I couldn't really stay on the phone that long because my phone was blowing up. So like every 2 seconds you hear like beeps and stuff, and then I guess the Falcons reporters called me, and I had to talk to them. But it was hectic. I thought my phone was about to explode, really, because it was just a lot more attention than it ever got before. It was a really cool experience. Definitely, life changing and everything.
When you got to training camp, how was that scene? Was there any rookie hazing or anything like that, or were people pretty welcoming? Or
they're pretty welcoming in Atlanta. I mean, we have a big brotherhood. That's what we try to preach. So we were relatively young, especially on defense last year. So they didn't really hate us that much. I mean, a couple of the older veteran guys like to play around with me and like say, go pick this up and that up. And I do it because I'm supposed to be a good teammate and stuff. I don't want to, overstep boundaries or seem like, stuck up or something. I know my role, and, I'm just trying to be out there being a good guy with the team and everything. So I was all right with it, but they didn't really hate us that much. No.
You're lucky I wasn't there. That was my favorite thing about, because I was in a different era than Foye, right?
Apparently, a couple years before I would have gotten, really hazed, but I think they put a stop to that.
Well, I used to one year I shaved a guy's head, put it down the middle and did all that, and he had to go out to practice with the press there and everything the next day. I know Foye's coach, Dan Quinn, and Dan Quinn's a great guy. And so what do you think of Dan, Foye? You've been with him over a year now, and so, what do you think of his head coaching style and how he treats you? I know he's a defensive guy.
Yeah, I think he's really good. I mean, definitely a guy who likes to put his trust in the people that he chooses. And, so once you're welcome into the defense, like he kind of hand selected you, and he kind of puts your trust in you and wants you to be accountable to like what you're supposed to do. So it's definitely a guy you don't want to mess things up for, because, you can tell that what we kind of have is special and isn't like that on a lot of other teams.
Foye, you've been through a year now. What's the biggest lesson you think, that you feel like you've learned from being in the NFL for a year? Whether it's, on the field, in practice, in the community, what do you think that is?
On the field, just you just always got to be improving. You can never, get complacent with yourself, because one week you might have done really well, but like the next week, everybody's like just as good as you, week in, week out. So in order to, stay on top of, the competition you're about to play, you have to do the work. You have to put the time in regardless. You can never really relax for the whole year. And, from the Ivy League, we played 10 games. In the NFL, we really played, for me, 20 games with preseason in there is 4 games. So, it's a really long grind, but you really got to put in that work week in, week out. And then in the community, you kind of just got to know that people really look up to you. It's kind of weird for me because Yale, nobody really cares about the football as much. And then, you come out here, I don't really get noticed until, I'm at an event with my jersey on or in pads or whatever it is, because people are trying to emulate it. People are trying to be like you because they kind of, idolize you in that sense. And I think it's really important for you to be always putting out the best example, because people are trying to be like you.
Yeah, you got to get to know those restaurants in the community so you go get those free meals. I love that.
Yeah.
We had a lot of those free meals in D.C., Dave.
Yeah, I read that. Rode that train for a little bit. Yes.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
The
that.
Gus
That's
bus,
for sure.
yes,
Yeah, the Gus bus.
yes.
I had a lot of people on the Gus bus. It was a lot of fun for a long time. So what's your favorite? You had 1 year under your belt. You played outside linebacker, inside linebacker. You were on special teams. What was your favorite part of this whole scenario?
My favorite part, personally, was just proving to myself that I could play regardless of where they put me at. Linebacker is a new position for me, and that was another question mark: is can I learn it? Can I be successful back there? And then as the weeks went on, I think I just proved to myself more and more that I could fit behind the ball and everything. So I was just trying to get better back there. And then special teams, it's just like, we need you there, play there. So I was just, happy to provide for the team in that sense and be successful there too.
Is there a hit in particular that sticks out in your mind?
For an NFL, I mean, there was one hit, I wouldn't say big hit, but I just remember I had a TFL against Adrian Peterson. That was really cool. That was like my first TFL too. Is like, that's Adrian Peterson. I used to grow up watching him and everything. So that was really cool. And, I tackled him again a couple of times, and that game was just like really cool for me. It's just like somebody who's like, oh my God, like that should be, I wouldn't say a hero of mine, but it's just somebody who used to watch and be like, that dude's amazing. And then you're there now playing against him, and at the time you're not really thinking much of it because that's your job. You're there to do that. But after, now that I've gotten to think about it for a long time, it's really a cool experience.
Now, hopefully you're still playing in 10 years, but where do you see yourself in 10 years if you're not playing?
If I'm not playing, that's a good question. I've had it's kind of a lot of, I guess, different things I could do. I could go back into finance if I wanted, wealth management was kind of the way I was going to. I kind of want to keep it in sports now. The longer I play, I feel like the more passionate for, staying in the sport I'd be. So either if that's, the corporate side of or business side of, one of these organizations, or if that's, maybe announcing or, being an analyst, stats and stuff, playing with numbers still, I think I could be good at. But definitely, the longer I stay in the sport, the more I want to, continue with the sport after I'm done.
Well, one thing I can say is when you're out, you're out, and there's no going back. So,
Right.
One thing I wish I would have done more is all the people that I got to meet in 15 years in the NFL was getting their cards, getting to know them, staying in touch with all those people. I mean, I was on 7 teams. I was all over this country, and you meet so many people. You don't realize it when you're young, but for you to go up to somebody and say, hey, do you have a business card? Can I connect with you? And things like that. And then you start those communications, Foye, it'll take you so far. And those are relationships that you'll have for the rest of your life. And they mean a lot to you.
Well, add Yale on top of that, too.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, he's just got Yale. I had Tulsa. So there's I don't know how much difference. There's a little difference.
Depends what you want to do, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But on another note, he was talking about tackling Adrian Peterson. So Adrian was a rookie when I was in 2008, my last year of Foye at the Vikings. And he used to tackle Gunnar and Gabe in the locker room and wrestle with them all the time. So there's our difference. But we're connected somehow. You got to tackle Adrian. I got to play with him and throw him touchdowns. So it's amazing how this all comes into play.
Circle of life.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to break the huddle right here. We're going to come back and we're going to do a quick no huddle with Foyesade Oluokun. Be right back. All right, Foye, we're going to get back in the huddle now. We're going to do our no huddle segment. So Dave's going to fire questions at you. You can take your time and answer them, or you can fire them back as fast as you can. But we're gonna get down the field, score a touchdown real quick here.
All right, who's the funniest person you know?
I say Deion Jones pretty funny. I like hanging around him. Like, he's always having a good time, making me laugh.
Deion Jones, I like it. Hit him, Dave.
All right. Where is somewhere in the world you'd like to go?
Well, these are tough questions. Somewhere in the world I'd like to go. I guess I go back to Nigeria, see my grandma. I haven't seen her in a long time. Since I was 2, actually. I haven't been back. And my dad's always trying to get us to go back. So that would be nice to get back there.
All right. How about your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve.
What irritates you the most? If you're in the locker room,
a lot of things irritate me. Irritates me the most.
Foye got irritated a lot.
Probably, I guess people maybe chewing with their mouth open, smacking a lot.
There you go. Yeah, I'm always yelling.
That's high on my list.
Yeah.
How about the last concert you went to?
No, I didn't go to a concert in Atlanta.
Oh man, you got to get. I know those concerts are crazy.
How about bad habits? What bad habits do you have?
Big candy eater. I eat a lot of candy. I need to stop it. I tried.
What's your favorite candy?
But I can't. It's good.
What's your favorite candy?
What's that?
What's your favorite candy?
Right now, probably Airheads. I had Skittles back in the day, but I'm a big Airhead guy right now.
What's your favorite restaurant? Where do you go eat in Atlanta?
What's that? It's like Ted's Montana Grill. Been really good. Cause I don't live like directly in the city. I live like up north, so it's hard to get those good restaurants in the city for me.
How about any hidden talents we might not know about?
Probably golf. I wouldn't say I'm good at golf, but I can drive it really well.
All right,
you go.
Last one. If they were making a movie about you, who would play you?
Ooh, the dude who played Booby Miles. That's my favorite actor. I don't know his name, but I like that guy. He played Booby Miles and the other guy in Glory Road. I like him.
Nice.
Who would play you?
You say it all the time. I wouldn't be allowed to have anybody else but this guy.
Ronnie Cycli for our audience, if you guys remember Ronnie Cycli.
Dave always says Ronnie Cycli. I don't know. I don't see it, but hey, whatever. But Foye, man, thanks for getting in the huddle with us today, and we appreciate you coming on and joining us and telling us a little bit about your story, all your transitions, and how sports really influenced you to where you got today, and hopefully sports takes you further in your life, and I learned a lot about you today I didn't even know, and just appreciate you, and just keep working your butt off. You're going to have a long, long career in the NFL.
Thank you.
Dave?
Appreciate that.
Hey, what a solid guy. I can see why you're so high in Foye. Great guy, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.